Hello, it's Eva. Hi. Tonight I want to answer the big question, which is what makes great sex? This is the thing we're all talking about. And I have a lot of ideas on this, and tonight I'm just going to share one of them with you. So if you don't know me, I am a sex therapist, coach, and educator. And I want to begin with this idea of elevating sex. How can we elevate sex from being simply a conquest or an athletic act or a routine? So if you're in a long-term relationship, sex often becomes a routine. And oh my gosh, I'm seeing so many beloveds on. Hello. So how do we elevate sex? How do we make it extraordinary? How do we make it spiritual and profound? And how do we make it actually a healing experience? I think that most people will agree, if you look back on all of the peak sexual experiences in your life, maybe you've had one, maybe you've had many. If you really dial into that experience, you'll find that there was some story, some context, some theme or texture about that experience that allowed you to touch a taboo, that allowed you to find an edge and to reveal some deeper hidden aspect of yourself. So way, way beyond sex being about technique or performance, I believe that great sex is really about when we can find and to cultivate a space that allows the full range of our expression. So many of us enter a sexual encounter, whether it be with a new lover or a one-night stand or a spouse or long-term relationship, we enter the encounter with a story. And I find that the most common stories for men are around performance or are around pleasing the woman or are around simply getting the job done, like reaching the goal of sex. And I find that for women, the stories tend to be more around being loved. Am I loved? Does this make me lovable? Do I look good? Will I please my partner? And I want to suggest, what if we drop the story and instead bring a new kind of sentiment into the encounter? And what if we see every encounter as an opportunity to express ourselves authentically? Great sex is when we take a risk to be vulnerable in some way. Great sex is when we develop the courage to be totally true to ourselves and to our partner. Great sex liberates some dimension of our erotic shadow. And now for some people, their erotic edge or their erotic shadow might be around being wild. For others, it might be around being very tender and very vulnerable. For others, it might be enacting a story or a role play or performing some act that they've never performed before. And for most of us, our erotic edge revolves all the time. So we could reveal 10 different erotic edges within one encounter, or just to really embody one. But this is what makes sex great, is when it leads us into a deeper knowing of who we really are in totality. Great sex is when the experience leads us closer to our partner. So if you're liking this so far, show me you're there, give me a heart, give me a like, and let me know that this is interesting for you and you're on board. The other thing about sex being great, in my book, what makes it amazing, is when we do take the risk to express some deeper part of who we really are, and that expression, if it's met by our partner with love and especially with celebration, then we actually heal that part of who we are and we come into integration. We become more whole because some part of who we are that we might have trouble accepting is now loved and celebrated by our partner. And it helps us to love and celebrate all of who we are. We heal this way, and it actually leads us into a profound level of intimacy with our partner. So how do we do this? How do we invite this kind of depth into our lovemaking experience? Well, in my book, one of the first things we need to do is to be willing to take risks. And what I mean by that is be willing to take a risk to reveal yourself. And in some situations, it might be easier than in others. Certainly if we're in a partnership or long-term relationship, we have already developed some trust. But to the degree that you can you ask for what you want? Can you show or tell your partner what really turns you on? Can you drop into the deepest, most authentic place in that moment? Can you be so embodied and so true that it absolutely cracks you open? And in doing this, we actually give our partner permission to do the same. And we create a field that becomes very erotic and exciting, right? This is like really exciting sex. Give me a heart or a like if you agree. This is really exciting sex. The other thing I feel like we need to do is to create a field of unwavering presence and unwavering approval. So when you can stay with a partner and stay so present to all of the movements that they're going through, I don't mean just physical movements, but I mean emotional movements, spiritual movements, the energies and the psyche, the erotic energy that's moving through them, and just follow that golden thread. It is so healing for them and so enlivening and erotic. When your partner can also return the same, you've got a good thing going. So this is just one idea of many about what makes sex great. I would love to hear what you think of this in the comments. If you've ever had an experience like this, and in your book, in your mind, in your life, what makes sex exciting to you? I'd love to hear more in the comments. So if you like this, please share it. And if you would like more information around this and just to go deeper into my world, I welcome you in. Please come join me at evaclay.com and let's keep the conversation going. Okay, have an amazing night and I love you. Bye.